Hello Fly Nation and welcome to the Freestyle Your Life podcast, the one and only podcast inspiring you to live your authentic greatness while teaching you that less is more. I'm your host, Daniel Zimmerman, and I'm on my mission to help you to be the hero you were meant to be and to live what you came for in life and in business. Remember, the quest we came here for is to discover our true nature, explore our potential and share it by living. On today's episode number 44, Daniel Hanneman, a professional counselor and certified hypnotherapist, reviews how to find and live your sacred purpose in a superfly way. And he shows how to awaken your innate empathic gift. To give you a taste on how energy scanning works, you can experience this and the clearing right here in this session when I'm the example for it. Have fun and lots of insights. So hello Fly Nation, my today's guest is my dear friend Daniel John Hanneman, and we have been in Tampa actually in February, and we're just talking about what crazy things happened since we met the last time in Florida. So David is a professional counselor and certified hypnotherapist. Sometimes I struggle with crazy words here. And he combines business backgrounds and professional backgrounds with energy healing, screening, clearing, and the spiritual scene there. And I think that's really amazing how you combine the things, not only being on one side, but combining the things. So you will tell us more about that. And you're a master intuitive trainer and do channeling also, and hypnosis, and have motivational techniques, and I could go on and on and on, and have just written your bestseller book, and you are a podcast colleague also. You're also on a radio show in the internet, and you need to tell us more about that, and maybe the retreat we just talked about. So welcome, Daniel, on the Fly podcast here, and this is your stage. Please go ahead and explain a little bit what people, how people can approach finding their own sacred purpose, because this is your special expertise there, and how can we bring it into life?
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I'm so grateful to be here. And yeah, so the opportunity for your sacred purpose is all around waking up spiritually. So waking up spiritually, and then from that place is knowing what's true for you and what's not true for you on your path, including the service you're here to do in the world, which is a particular interest for me, because I do not only, like you said, I combine everything. So I'm tuning into people and doing channelings or prayer energy work. And then I'm also an intuitive business coach, so I can help on a practical level as well. So a full kind of spectrum. So we're talking about your sacred purpose. The first and foremost thing is our state of being. Are we allowing ourselves to let things be more natural, more coming from that deeper centered place spiritually in our lives? Are we really embodied with source in our spirit? That's what is called awakening. It's what's called enlightenment. The way we cultivate that, of course, is through various practices like watching our breath, right? Sinking into our body deeper and out of our heads, taking some time to meditate, some deep time to meditate. In my case, I strongly recommend, and allowing ourselves. And then from that place, when we allow ourselves to really get in tune and sync with the enlightened presence within, we're able to ask questions. We're able to ask questions of that presence. So for some of us, that shows up as simply, God or source or just the enlightened presence. For other people, it may show up as, I'm talking with my angels, I'm talking with the ascended masters, or what have you, my guides. And all of it's perfect, all of it's good, whatever, however it wants to happen, it's great. And then you just can, follow your guidance to experience, the breakthroughs you're really looking for on your path as a soul. Because what is this whole thing about? It's not just about just making some transformational change, making some money, and it's not only about that, but it's about something far deeper, truly, in the deeper perspective of life. It's about us all coming back home to who we really are, and therefore, really, if we really look at it, back to the essence of who we are, which I feel is an impulse for everyone, regardless of their belief structures. They know there's a deeper essence of love and wholeness that they want to return to, and most people can understand that pretty easily. So that's what we're pointing to with your sacred purpose, coming from that place that is unalterable, within ourselves, and allowing ourselves to navigate our path from that, rather than the programs and the gnawing, what they talk a lot about ego and stuff, but that part that wants to, keep us in perpetual suffering because we're not allowing ourselves to just naturally be free to be who we are, right?
Right.
Just freestyling our life, as you say, right? Just, hey, what's fun? What's joyful? That's more the correct approach for things for people. Because without it, we literally become ill. We physically become ill. Our finances take a dive eventually. It may not happen right away, but we'll suffer there. It'll either just be a big weight, or our money all disappear over time. No matter how many millions or billions you make or whatever, you're going to lose it. Can't take it with you, as they say. Right? The only thing it's unalterable is that presence within, and all great things can be added on to us, as we know. So this all has to do with what is your sacred purpose, about living your sacred purpose. Some people think it's kind of a, maybe a passive way of being, a really yin way of being. I would say it's a mix of all of it, because from that place of coming from that place deep within, there are those times when you're hugely activated. You could work for days on end with little sleep. I mean, you can be just filled with so much energy and accomplishing so many outer things at the same time. So it's not about just only meditating and making money, which I do talk about, but it's also really like the minute you're really clear on something, take the action, get on it, right? You're good at doing that. Take those actions, right? Get engaged, and then allowing yourself not to run or run away from the contracted places within our being when we're moving into the world, right? So it's not just a namaste, everything only, but like when we run into something, is to really get curious and to work with that. And I talk about getting integrated with those energies, and bringing those energies back into aliveness and wholeness and all those sorts of things. So so these are all the things I talk about in helping healers and spiritual entrepreneurs and navigating their path and being able to, resolve the issues they have around awakening, bringing their gifts out into the world, owning their power, and making money, because a lot of people feel complex with that.
Yeah, that's amazing. And we are totally sort of one and aligned with our approach on that. Daniel, you come more from the other side, and I consider being authentic, which is just another word for what you just explained. To be ourselves, right, and skip the roles and masks and whatever we used to play, sometimes a life long, and to return back to ourselves, right? But the question is, of course, most people don't know how to do it, right? So how can we find the purpose? How can we come in contact with it, and that's the foundation of all, right? Because we both love our job here and interviewing the people and tuning in, and so many people just go to work and they think of the evening, of the weekend, of the retirement, of the holidays, just to get rid of it, right? So this is not what we are talking about. So we are talking about really loving what you do, whatever might be different for everybody, of course, but to find that, because that fulfills. right? And
Yes.
how can we approach that, and how can we find that? And for sure it's something that, yeah, we love to do, we are happy to do, right? And this of course leads to transformation and to changes of the environment, of the job, of the partner, whatever. In my case it was all because, as you just explained, I got ill from all the things that I did that weren't me, right?
Right.
So I had to skip everything there and to transform over and over. And so I'm the best example for the case you just mentioned, to get ill from being from not doing what I'm here for, first of all, and then from living a life that I couldn't live, right? So
Right.
this
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
this can really turn out very bad.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. The breakdowns come eventually. What are your drivers, right? So that's something that we're always looking at. What's driving?
Yes.
Like one of the things I see a lot of is when people say, well, this person's really successful. And I'm like, well, yeah, maybe. Yes and no, maybe. We don't know. We don't know what's creating that success, so to speak. In other words, we get an advertisement of people, how people are when they're successful. Well, they're making a lot of money, they're helping a lot of people, and yes, and how are they doing though? And a lot of times, you probably hear about it too. There's a lot of people that aren't, that happy. They're actually in a lot of torment. Sometimes I've heard some of these people that we are celebrated are, well, I'll find out through the grapevine or for them directly that they're going through a living hell. So that's all fine. We all have our things to deal with. I'm not here to just like a bashing, but it's just pointing out, like when people say, well, I want to be successful and all this stuff, what does that really mean? For me, it means like showing up in every moment, being, as you say, authentic, or being in the presence, just listening, just being as loving and kind and as powerful as I can be, and just being me, and just being committed to that, whatever that means. And just that commitment, full commitment to me and my purpose, how I'm here to help people, is huge. But I want to, before I get too far down that rabbit hole, I want to circle back to a very important thing you asked me about, which was, how can someone understand, what is that purpose? Or how do they step into that? How do you do it? So what I wanted to say about that is, one essential practice I feel is essential for people on the path that we're on, bringing our work out into the world, and as healers, spiritual entrepreneurs, or even people that want to step into that, is meditation. Is getting into that still space, starting our day with that. Starting with any amount, the amount is secondary to getting into the practice and making it a consistent practice. Always first thing in the morning, because otherwise, like anything else, if you don't do it right away, forget about it. Your mind's going to talk yourself out of it later. A lot of times when people
other things come in the way, right?
Yeah, exactly. We talk ourselves out of things. I always tell people that too. In some cases, I'll tell people that too if they were thinking about hiring me. I'm like, well, you could think about it, but you know what? Your mind's going to talk you out of it. Always come up with a reason why you can't do this. So it's like, that's why I say, take the actions when you know they're true. When you're clear, proceed immediately, because otherwise you will. So that's a great way to live your purpose too. When you know, jump now. Don't wait, because later you'll be like, well, maybe not. Maybe next lifetime. We'll just dance around this thing. No, just do that now. So those are, just those two things alone are huge. There's a whole list of things we could go through. But I think those are some essential things. And then just looking at what are you truly passionate about? Really being rigorously taking a look at that. So I take people through what's called the passion test. I'm a facilitator for. By Janet Bray and Chris Atwood. And just identify what are the top 5 things that are deep and meaningful to you in your life. So there's a process. You can get their book. I'm helping share sell their books a lot, I tell you, because I really love it. I love their work. So like I've been doing it for like over a decade and helping other people with it. It's just identifying those top 5. And when you do, it just so happens when you do it with a facilitator like myself, you go through the process, you get clearer, faster, and easier than if you just follow the process in the book. It won't be as clear or as accurate as when you work with someone. But
let me interrupt you for a second,
yeah.
Daniel.
Yeah.
You're finding this out by asking, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you sit down and you think about all areas of life, your relationships, your health, your finances, your expression in the world, your spirituality, whatever. You think about all these things and you think, when my life is ideal, and you start writing down all the different things. And then you do a comparison process, which they talk about all this in the book. It's like, okay, so do I want millions of dollars more, or do I want more quality time with my kids? Now, it seemed like you would always pick quality time with your kids, right? It seemed like the right thing to pick. But you might actually better off, like your soul might be calling you to the millions a little bit more as a priority right now than spending more quality time with your kids, right? So it's just a matter of what's true, what's not true. So it's a great way of beginning to build that muscle of seeing just what really seems most true to you outside of your concepts, outside of your ideas, outside of your ego concepts of what you think you like, which usually aren't the things you like the most anyway. They're usually like the bait that gets you in trouble, and later on you're like, I'm not fulfilled still. So be rigorous about what's really, really true and deep and meaningful to you. And once you identify that, it literally is. It's scientific. We can prove it again and again all day long. What you put your attention to is your life. What you put your attention to truly is your life.
Totally.
Bottom line. And if you, it's law. It's just the way life works.
Yeah.
And so people say, but I've been focusing on millions and success forever. No, you haven't. What you've been focusing on is how you don't have it. So that's what you've been focusing on. If you put your attention on what you want squarely, that's the key. And that's where it gets tricky for some people, because for whatever reason, it's difficult for us to maintain that attention. It has to do with the subconscious energies and, all the programs and stuff that just keep us in fear, unsafety, and what do I need to do to survive and be approved of, right? All that kind of stuff. That takes us out of being authentic and powerful and having the life we want and being who we are and thriving being who we are.
So how can we make sure we stay on track? Of course, it's having a facilitator or coach like you are by the side, but what could people do themselves? I'm always keen on providing people with concepts and tips and strategies that they get the self-expert, right? So they are not dependent on us or a doctor or whatever, but I'm a fan of, teach a man to fish and he can eat all life, right? Rather than eating just tonight by giving him a fish. So what could you give a tip to bring them in the self-expert status there?
Well, I think we have covered some of that actually already. Number one is to take care of your vibration. Anybody can do that. Every time that you find that you're feeling heavy, there's something that needs to be shifted with that, or something needs to happen with that. So it's a signal that something is needing to be integrated or shift or released or something. So the first thing when you're feeling heavy is bottom line is to shift the vibration. That's the simplest way without, again, doing the deeper dive training on everything. Shift your vibration. Come up with physical tools, mental tools, emotional tools, spiritual tools. Come up with a number of things you can do. Like physical tools could be exercise, mental tool could be an affirmation, emotional tool, it could be to talk to a friend or watch something humorous. Or spiritually, like really like meditating could be one way, like whatever feeds your spirit. So raising your vibration The second step of that is when you're at a higher vibration, you tend to receive and hear your angels and your guidance more clearly. So that second step is listen then to your intuition. What? Listen to your intuition. What? Listen to your intuition. Second step. And when you hear that, you get that guidance. Like I said, you act on it. You act on it. You act on it. Which is the third step. Is to take rapid and massive action on what you know to be true. Once the angels are singing, you're flowing, man. Go, go, go. Third step: take massive and rapid action. Massive and rapid action. Number 4 is, what I call is integration. When you meet challenges, not to go back to old patterns to feel safe or just to get comfort again, which only keeps you exactly where you've been. It's just a cycle. Whoa, we're just in a cycle. I feel better now. I feel bad now. Let me use coping mechanisms to feel better again. I feel bad. Instead, you're looking for growth and expansion. So when you hit challenges, it's like, what is wanting to happen here? How am I? If you have a commitment towards world peace and you hit a challenge with that because you don't feel at peace and people are driving nuts in your life, instead of saying, yeah, okay, I guess I don't really believe in that. So instead of being about world peace, I'm not going to be full on with that. I'm just going to be about trying to get by and just kind of keep trying doing my job and not be a leader of this movement. Instead, you say, oh, wow, there's something not at peace within me. Maybe I need to go on a 5-day meditation retreat or something, right? So like, all right, what will help me to go deep? So what is the correct thing? What is this challenge trying? Again, it's like your intuition, really, integration, because it's like, what is it really trying to tell you ultimately? So what is it? What is the impulse of where it's trying to take you? That would, again, shift the energy, going back to that first step. But what is it trying to teach you? What lessons are you learning from it? What new actions that are you to take? Because it always is going to end up being a new way you're going to be and the way you're approaching your life and action. So what is it calling you into? Most people, again, they just give up there. Oh, I'm out. I'm tapped out, going back to where I came from. Whereas, you say, no, what am I learning? What is this inviting me into that I'm supposed to step into and through? To ask that question and just simply do that. If people just do those steps, and have a clear intention on where they want to go in the first place by doing what I talked about earlier, looking at what's deeply meaningful, come up with your 5 top intentions for your life. They just do that. Hey, you can do all that on your own. You don't need anybody to do that with you. You can just do it on your own. Just be clear. The thing is it's easier with support, It's just easier. Totally. And we can break through resistance and issues we have that otherwise sometimes we may never get through. That's just a fact of the matter. That's why I believe so much in healers and coaches and all the helpers out there, because without helping each other, without getting the help, it possibly may never happen. So it's like, okay, let's bring the help. And when we're all doing our thing in the world, all the help in the world to be there, right? So that's why it's so important for us to just keep showing up.
Right, and from the outside, of course, it's easier to see the whole picture, right? And being inside and being stuck, and then people want to return to a comfort zone, which is not at all comfortable, but there is no growth, right? And but there is the unknown, and how can I go there? And they tend to distract themselves and whatever, right? And instead of really taking time for themselves to find. This is not just like a 1-minute task to find this out, right? It took us really long.
Yes.
This is a misbelief. So you just snip the finger and like it down. My purpose and how I bring it to the world.
But that's the exception rather than the what happens usually. Typically it's continuing to be in the inquiry process and continuing to work upon it is where the deeper clarity comes from. But by doing all these things, you're going to have more opportunity for these magic moments people are hoping for. By taking the steps to be receptive enough then, well, whoa, the heavens parted, all of a sudden I knew. But you probably, usually, not always, but most cases, even there, like 90+% of the time, even when it just drops in out of the blue, it's because you've been setting the intention for a while, even for years or decades, right, or lifetimes. Like, I was setting the intention to finally get it, and now it's here. So that's how it works. Yeah.
Yeah. So please tell us something about the book you call authored with all the famous names, just to make to name some of them, with Dr. Wayne Dyer and Dr. Michael Beckwith and Tony Robbins. So this is amazing names. How did this work out?
Yeah, so I was invited into a book that is a collection of stories, and there's all kinds of people in there. Those are the lead names, those are the people we know. So they all contributed, and then all people that weren't known so well contributed, and people from all different situations and walks of life that contributed to the book. And it's really amazing because all of them show, like, it's Wake Up, Live the Life, Living in Abundance. It's about, again, this trusting what you know to be true and following through on it. Like, there's a story, the story that I remember the most is just that someone decided they wanted to take a year with their kids to travel around the country. And they didn't know how it'd work. They had all these questions and doubts and fears about it, but they decided to do it anyway. And then when they did it anyway, all the great things, I won't give the story away, but all the great things that happened from it, and it worked out way better than they could have ever imagined, right? So it's having that, it's putting your energy where you're being called. Like, you just, I feel I'm supposed to be going this direction. Well, how's it going to work? Okay, I won't do it. No, it's like, you're supposed to go in that direction. You go in that direction with no sense of how it's going to happen. And then you just let it happen, because when you put the energetic investment in it, it will pay the return when you know it's true, when you're being really honest and sincere with yourself. That's the key. If you're not honest and sincere and you're just like, oh yeah, I want this, I want that, I want to do that, you're all over the place and it's not deeply honest and sincere, then you can expect, that things may not work out so well one way or another. But when you're honest and sincere, it always works out amazing. So that's the key, is just to be clear about that. But yeah, I just got invited into the book and became a contributor, and I got fortunate to do that. And I just, I shared about my struggles with depression and anxiety in my life, and how I stepped through that by trusting that, that there's a force, that there's a force that's there that I can tap into that can create an abundant life for me, and then be able to go from a shy, depressed, suicidal kind of kid, not literally trying to kill myself, but with those thoughts all the time, to, now, be on a kind of a world stage, having thousands of people that follow me and helping thousands of healers. Yeah, it's like, it's amazing. From where I've come, being the kid that was called Mr. Invisible and totally down and out, to, like, experiencing so much joy, having so many great successes of just helping people in the world share their gifts, share their sacred purpose in the world. But it all comes through just deciding, really ultimately deciding on what is true for you, and just saying, no, this is who I am, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. Getting it all the way into it, navigating the money thing, like, say, no, money, I value money, because that's what the spiritual crowd does. Like, oh, I don't know, like the heart-centered spiritual people, oh, I don't know, the money's not so important. Until it is, and it's like, I need money right now.
But that's it's money is just nothing but the exchange medium, right? So and what I learned is the universe is always trying to balance out, right? So for my part, I was too much in the active part there and managing and doing,
Yes,
and
yes, yes, yes.
having 2 sons and a dog and 2 companies and being a single mom. And yeah, I was just overthrown, right? And I got the illness, or sometimes it was just an accident occurring, to put me out of the race there. And then there was nothing else to do because I just couldn't, right? And I had the time to just free myself up and time to think, hey, am I crazy? What am I doing here? I'm running against the wall and with full consciousness, right? So it wasn't, I didn't realize I'm doing the wrong thing. It was just, in my case, I didn't know how to turn things around. There was nobody bringing the money in, right? And I had all the costs, and house and car and the kids and whatever. And so I didn't know how to manage, right? And I was afraid of the unknown that helped me out of here, right? And then I always got the time to have a real break, to be thrown out of the rat race there, because I didn't stop before. So that was my thing behind it. And of course, it's not easy to find out what is behind the symptom, what is the meaning behind it. I really studied this like crazy because that was my topic, right? But yeah, if we dig deep and we are willing to dig deep, and yeah, we are the most important person in the world for ourselves, right? Because we stick together with ourselves all the time, right? Until the end.
That's
so, please, Daniel, tell us something about the energy scan. So you are offering, for example, I will mention everything in the show notes because the listeners might be not able to write it down now. But you have a 15-minute energy scan on your homepage. And how does this work? Or could you do it with me, for example? Or I think listeners would be very interested in that.
Yeah, sure. You want me to do one right now?
Yeah, sure. So
okay, great.
I could be the example of what I would.
And depending on when they go there, it may not still be a 15-minute energy scan. It might be a longer one. So we'll talk more about that later. Yeah. They have the opportunity to get this from me for sure. So, okay, great. So let's go ahead. What I'm going to do is spend some time tuning in. There's a part, where I do it formally with people where I actually set down my headset, and we won't do that for the purposes of your podcast. But I'll just do some deeper but general tuning into you to start give you all a sample, right? So okay, so through the information I'll share then is around your sacred purpose. Is that what you're looking for? Like me to tell you more about your sacred purpose and rocking your sacred purpose is what I talk about.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, great. All right, so specifically we'll tune into that. So let me go ahead and just take a moment to just kind of start tuning in. Okay, so I mean, one of the things I'm just geared towards looking for all the time, because I work with healers, is that I see the signature of a healer within your energy. So they show like energy coming through your hands. I see angelic energy with you. So that's one of the first things I notice. And you're okay with me sharing just kind of whatever comes through, right?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
I'm totally authentic, whatever
awesome. Whatever it is, it's all good. Okay, just double checking with you. Okay, so one of the things I do feel is, I know you're broken loose of it in large degrees, but I also do feel there's an energy of depletion I'm feeling in your energy field. So probably because you've been, very active lately. So it feels like there's some heaviness that could be released. So it's like you're getting more creative and playing and creating all this great stuff. But I know what it's like when you're creating stuff. It can get to be heavy. It can feel so in your upper field of your aura, your energy. It just, the signal to me is depletion. So let me take a closer look at that to speak more about that. Okay, so spiritually speaking, for me it would be like directly, I would say like it's more around, I don't know, your spiritual orientation really, but like I really get that connecting with your angels, your guides, and all that sort of stuff would give you much greater energy. So if you were to get in a practice of doing that, or just again listening more deeply, more fully to your intuition, you would find more shortcuts, and ways to make things easier and simpler for yourself. So that's the way it's coming to me, because I kind of see your head knocking against a wall a bit, and it's like, okay, it's going to be a lot, and that kind of thing. And so, and then I also get that there are a lot of different things that you need to hand off to other people. I keep getting this feeling. And then I feel like that's where the breath can come in, more breath can come into your energy. And from then that place is, then I'm feeling like, the energy is circulating much better. So you're on too many things. You need to let go of some things. You need to give some things away. Let's see, what else am I getting? So so that installs more of this worthy and whole kind of energy, versus the depletion and old programming around not being worthy, and I've got to, I get a feeling around I'll show them, like I'll show them. So that kind of energy comes through to me. Let's see. I just see your mental energy does get involved a lot. So it's like it does get into that trying to figure things out, which again is great. But if you get deeper into your channel and your energy of intuition, you get your mind slower and it'll be clearer. It'll be more effective instrument, right? So that's what I'm seeing for you. Let's see. They're just showing me your wisdom, so that you have a great capacity to be able to cut right through a situation and see to the center. Like even as an interviewer, I could feel it in you, by the way. Like you're just like, let's go right here. That kind of energy comes through sometimes. And that's great. That's a great interviewer. And you're great with that. If you were to do coaching, you'd be great. You'd be laser, like, yeah, but what about this? Like the people that want to go this way, that way, you're like, no, but what about this? You're not going to let people off the hook, right? So like, okay, I'm not leaving until you get this thing. And so that's great. And so you got that. So I love one of the things I love about you. That's like that kinship I have with you. Like you're like, no, we're getting this thing done. And so I love that. And you're willing to speak your voice. You're willing to. The thing would be is like the blockage in the past would be like, will people get me? Like, because you have some creative and different ideas to share sometimes, and you can be quirky and stuff. So like it may feel, in the past it might have been like worried about that, and there might be, and there certainly could be levels of, and the more visible I get, and the more I show up everywhere, that's where the voice will get more wobbly. The risk. It's always the same for all of us. The risk level seems to feel higher. So it's like, oh my God, they're gonna hang me again, like they did in the past life. Like that's the feeling I get with you. Like that sort of energy comes in. Like, they're gonna take it. I feel your energy like being pulled backwards. So it's like they're gonna take me away. They're gonna lock me up. So no. So that energy is just something to be aware of, and the patterns that might create, which might be like, boy, I'm going to work on all these projects. Let me work on 10 projects. Man, we're going to crank it out. We're going to do amazing. Or like maybe you should just be focused on 2 or 3 projects, you know? So that could be a hazard for you. Like, oh no, more projects, but that's more safety than it is being productive. It's less projects, more productive. So that's something I'm meeting with you as well. So yeah, and then just let me take a look at the lower chakras, the hearts, everything. Yeah, just in the power center, it just has this feeling of like being things of being difficult. Like it's you know, and then I feel like there's maybe a bit of an anger sort of thing, um, like you know, your heart is so huge. Okay, so you love people right where they are, and then there's other part that's like, damn it, if they do it, only just get it, you know? So it's kind of like what I was talking about before, but you also got this, damn it, I wish they would just get it. And I feel like there's another part of you that would like things to be just more effective and easier. Effectiveness,
Yes.
you know, keeps coming through. And so it's all good. It's kind of all a gift, but it also, again, like it can deplete you. That's where that depletion comes in again. It's like, oh, I'm so busy trying to crank this out, get things more effective. I'm so tired, you know, and then you just want to like, let go. So, which is great. That's a great impulse. So anyway, I could keep going on and on and on and on, but that gives you an idea. I go through the chakras, I just read your energy overall, and I start seeing like, what are the issues? Here we discovered depletion, maybe some divine outrage at things in the world. Like I'm starting to read more now, but like, bound outrage, why are things the way they are? They shouldn't be this way. And so like that. So it's again, it can serve you, but it also can embattle you too. So you have to be careful with that energy. You get more, that's where getting more centered helps.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and then that you have gifts that you're not utilizing, the gifts of being able to tune in at a deep level and really hear things intuitively, and highly creative. You're highly creative, and channeling that in the proper way. And is a, you know, as a channel and a healer and things like that. Like you have those capacities. You could utilize those. It could be, you know, you could utilize that in the coaching you do, etc., even more than maybe you do now. Is my feeling, my first sense. So yeah, and there could be more, but I think it gives you an experience. It gives the listeners a taste.
Yeah, oh my gosh, Daniel, that's wonderful. And even if I didn't know at all what would come out here, I just trusted to be in on the scene here and to be the example. And so many of what you realized, it just is like that. That's amazing. And I always love to speak in examples and in stories, right? Because we can tell all day, do that, but still listeners don't know how that works, right? How are you doing your job, and how is it as the patient, and how does all this work? Yes, of course, I'm a healer, have studied shamanic healing strategies. I have a channeling. I'm a medium, but I decided not to work on that. But I did all the certificates, and I'm using it every day in my daily practice here. I tune in to the interview prior to being on stage with you here. And so I feel the energy, how everything is going. I use this quite often. I meditate a lot, and I'm very emotional, very intuitive, and very creative. And sometimes this comes into my way of really doing taxes or whatever I have to do, right? So what I did is all the technical part of the podcast. You're a podcast colleague, you know exactly all this cutting and editing and things. I love to be with you here on the pod and to talk, to inspire and to motivate my listeners out there. But cutting the episodes, it just sucks for me. right?
Yeah.
So this part I don't like, or I did mention it in former times, doing the taxes and accounting. This is just not for me, right? So what I did and learned out of that, because I really have to force myself to do it, and it's really heavy and it sucks, is that I let my technical assistant do all the editing and all the technical stuff there, and I'm brilliant with you here. I could talk all day, and you too. And all the rest, I give the taxes to my accountant, and I pass the all the technical editing stuff here, and the websites and setups and everything to my to Louis, to my technical assistant, and I feel much brighter and better, right?
Yes,
Once I have this not on my shoulder, because this is not good for me. But what I realized myself, I was on at a conference the whole weekend, and of course there was no break. This was the whole week and the whole weekend with the conference, and today we are here. Yesterday I was here, today I'm here with you, and it goes on and on and on. And after 50 interviews in a row, the last week I had sort of, I need a break, I need to breathe, right? And as I have sometimes too many projects. So I have the podcast is going, and the online summit is in the launch, and there is my book, and there is the system reopening, and of course this is a lot, and I have much more ideas I want to do, but I already cut it down.
Good.
It's not healthy to be everywhere, right? So what I did yesterday evening, and I have a film project coming on for the summit, and I realized it. Then I'm having problems to concentrate easily, right? So and I need more breaks. And just yesterday evening, coming back from the big congress there, I said to myself, well, I will take 2 or 3 days off. So where I do have to go it's far in the north of Germany, and it's on the coast of the East Sea, pretty near there. And I booked 2 more days to just relax in a hotel on the beach, right? So that is, I clearly sense this, and if I would go over it and not to listen what I do exactly hear it, then the signs get louder and louder, right?
Right.
Yes, and that's what I immediately booked yesterday evening for in about 2 weeks, and that feels just wonderful.
Right. And it's trusting that, right? Rather than like a pattern I have too is I'm having a breakthrough there more so lately too, is trusting to take some more time off, right? Like it's okay, like taking time to just like, okay, like I was planning on doing this, but I'm time to go play tennis or whatever. Like just making those commitments to ourselves to take care of ourselves so that our energy can stay in a great place and be in a great place, and then we can serve everything better. And then, like, I love that what you said about the delegation, that you're already, you're already like, yeah, okay, I need to do that. And so that's great that and then what you said about your listening and meditate and use your gifts, whatever I get, I just, it's not that you're not doing it. It's just that they're just showing me with some of your healing gifts, especially there was a sense that using them for others more fully could be huge. So that was something I was just to clarify on that. And then we all could listen better. So it's listening to our intuition. So just really listen to that even better. And we know we're literally listening to it well when things are flowing more, where we have a lot of expanded energy and things are flowing better. And we're all human. We're all going to, have contraction and exhaustion at times. But the more consistent we are with that, we know we're listening more clearly, more consistently. So, but this is how I see that this is what can make our ability to help people so much better. This is why I train people in doing this sort of reading that I do too. We can help people so much more effectively. We can see what's going on for you, can see some of the tweaks right away. It's a lot easier to coach you from that place of where to focus and where not to be focusing, and to get the kind of results that you're looking for, to guide the process by reading your energy and seeing what's going on. So thank you for giving me the opportunity and being willing to share, allowing me to share and you sharing and letting it be, vulnerable, open, for people to see that. And so thank you.
Thank you, Daniel. It was incredible, inspiring, and I think it will be, with the example, even more motivating for our listeners here to really tune in. How does this work? The energy work is huge. Everything is energy. So we are all connected, right? And it was just amazing. So thanks again so much. And it was such a pleasure to have you here on the spot. We were talking 1 hour already, and it just went like, right? It's when the energy, everything is connected. This was pure peace and holiday here with you.
Yes, we have a good time together.
So thanks a lot, Daniel, and my dear listeners. I hope you enjoyed the real done on the spot exercise with me to show the actual and practical work. David, I'm so deep in
I know. That's one of the names everybody channels for me.
I'm
David.
about to say David. No, not David. Daniel. I don't know why I have David in my head now. But Daniel shared here at my example, and it was just outrageous. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm so grateful.
Have a good time, all of you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye for now. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening in. I hope you got new inspiration to seek help and surrender to love no matter what situation you're in. Hopefully you could take away that transformation is possible. By getting the right support, you can embrace life joyfully and enjoy your life on your own authentic terms. Please rate and review the Freestyle Your Life podcast on freestyle-your-life.com/podcast if you like today's talk, and make sure you qualify for the amazing I Love to Fly podcast giveaway by subscribing and referring 3 friends to the Freestyle Your Life podcast. All experts and myself are happy to assist and support you. Just reach out to us. Thanks for joining us today, and don't forget to tune in next Thursday and listen in to your next inspiration on how to freestyle your life. You will learn another priceless shortcut on how to break free and restyle your life on your own authentic terms. Becoming authentically you will ease your life and business. Remember, Fly Nation, break free and fly. Looking forward to talk to you next Thursday. Bye.